banks.
Kevin, what?
So
The bank that you're banking at is a bank that don't even really exist because it's banking with a bank that's bigger than the bank that you're banking with.
yeah, so that's the difference between a big bank and the middle bank and the little bank. I know. I hope I just confuse a lot of people. So let me say this. Yeah. Josh is. My mind just got lost a little bit in the bank part. So you have investment banks.
Yeah.
Investment banks will be banks like T. Rowe Price, Vanguard, Fidelity.
Yeah.
Those are the big investment banks.
Yeah.
Then you got like the local banks, which is like a mid-sized bank with like Regions,
Regions,
Arvest.
Bank of America.
Bank of America is huge.
It's huge?
Bank of America.
I thought Regions and Bank of America were really slight.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
I mean,
you probably right. But see, this Bank of America is in more states than just because it's the Bank of America.
Oh yeah, it's Bank of America.
Regions is like four or five, places. Alabama here.
Yeah.
And then you have like banks like Wells Fargo. That's another huge.
Yeah,
bank.
that's another huge one. I see that everywhere.
It is. It's huge. And then Chase is a pretty big medium bank. But you have those investment banks is what's important.
Yeah.
So with those investment banks, what banks normally do, and I want at home, I want y'all to. This is very generalized, so I don't want y'all to think like, well, Kevin left out a step. He left this out. So what you do normally is and we talked about this last week, but I want to bring it up again. When you put your money in an account, the bank would take that money and they can lend it out or pretty much invest it.
Now we talking about Arvest, Regions, Bank of America, and
those banks. Those banks would go and they'll leverage that money.
Yeah,
and they'll either put in their credit card business they got, their car loan business. They'll either take that money and invest it, and then turn around and give you nothing back.
Wow.
See, people think about this. You did the work. You put the money in there. They invested it for you, and they don't give you anything back.
Dang, that's like pimps and hoes.
It is. You feel like you've been hurt. You've looked hurt.
I feel pimped.
Hey,
bro.
Josh look hurt a little bit.
Look, y'all, I've been pimped like all my life and really didn't know it. I was like, I put 1,000 in there. I got 1,000 in the bank.
You do. I mean, you do on paper.
On paper.
But if everyone went to the bank today to get their money out, it wouldn't be there.
Dang.
Because it's all been lended. It's all been lended out.
It's almost imaginary money.
Yep, it is. But they'll never tell you that. They'll never verbally tell you that.
It just turned digital. So
yeah.
At that point, then theoretically you have $1,000 in the bank.
You do.
But the bank is making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 off of that 1,000.
20 to 30 times more than what you put in there.
Well, hold on. So you mean to tell me Arvest is making $20,000 off of me?
Easily.
Wow.
Easy because they can lend their money out up to 10 times. And for every 1,000 you put in, it's called fractional reserve lending. It's fractional reserve lending.
Wow.
For every 1,000 you put in, they can lend their money out up to 10 times.
So what I've just learned is to X out the middleman.
So that's why we're teaching on the wealth effect. We're teaching you to not see. There's nothing wrong with the bank.
No,
because it provides safety. Like I wouldn't want to walk around with $10,000 in my pocket.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I mean, some people do it like
we go back to the mattress days.
We can, but even then you still losing money because of inflation. We'll talk about inflation later.
Yeah.
But I want my money always working.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go to I would never go to a local bank to ask them to give me a big percentage because it's not designed to do that. And whenever, and take this note down, whenever you go talk to anyone, if they tell you that you cannot get 8 to 12% returns on your money, they lying to you. They're lying to you because they still want to make money.
Yeah.
So
that's how they stay in business.
They do. It's called capitalism.
Yeah.
So some things people may not agree with today, but I want y'all to get this. Investing is simple, but not easy. See, today I'm going to tell you exactly, and Josh and myself are going to tell you exactly where to go and make these investments and really do the research. But you got to go do the research. That's simple.
You have to do the research.
That's simple.
Yeah.
That's simple to do. It's not easy. It's simple.
It's simple,
but it's also simple not to do.
Wow, man, you own it today.
Must be.
Is it the wine?
Man, I took my vitamins this morning.
And you took your... I didn't take my vitamins. That's why I couldn't remember what I was.
Hey, you remember what you was going to say earlier?
I still ain't remember.
Golly.
It'll come to me.
I'm a little bit sad. I wish we had some sad music for.
We ain't got no sad music.
I mean, we got some drama. The drama music. I think that's enough.
That'll suffice.
So with that being said, let's get into these investment banks.
Yeah.
So you can go to places like T. Rowe Price, Fidelity, Vanguard, and they have ETFs and mutual funds. So let's talk about mutual funds first.
Yeah.
So early with the example with the mutual funds and the brothers and all that kind of stuff, there's mutual funds out there that you can find that's doing 8 to 12% every single day.
Every single day.
And as one that I know of that's been doing like 14 to 18%
Wow.
this past year.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Dang. And it was crazy when we actually met the first time. It was a
Josh getting sentimental, y'all. Listen.
man. You know, I like to go down memory lane sometimes.
Go down.
But we were actually out there in Otter Creek, man.
Doing a Wealth and Wine event.
Do a Wealth and Wine event, man, and you had a presentation, and you said that same thing, and you had it displayed on.
I pulled it up.
Yeah, you pulled it up like right then and there and showed us. It's like, hey, this is what it's been doing this quarter. This is what it did last quarter. This is what it's been doing, last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago.
And you know what? I got to make this quick disclaimer because I decided not to be this. So, look, I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah,
everything
at
I
all.
say and that we're talking about today
At all.
is strictly for educational purposes only.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that you can get a high interest rate or anything like that. I'm just telling you where the money is. Was that a good disclaimer, y'all, on Facebook?
I think so.
It was good.
I mean,
I'm not a financial advisor.
Point blank.
I chose not to be a financial advisor
blank.
because I could have been one, but I want people to know I chose not to.
Yeah.
Just so they can know.
just hey,
Just put it out there.
hey, the knowledge is there.
Didn't want to get the degree.
Didn't want to get the degree.
or the license.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of financial advisors mad at me. And it's cool.
I mean, because you leaving a lot of money on the table. Financial advisors, they make quite a bit.
They do. And you know what? They're good. A lot of them are good. I almost messed it up at Facebook Live, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I actually didn't become a financial advisor because I didn't become a financial advisor because I want to be able to say what I meant and meant what I said.
So it's almost like a ethical.
Yeah,
Ethical balance there.
I could have gotten a lot of trouble for just giving what I'm giving now.
Yeah, if
Like
you had
a
that
lot
license.
of trouble. And so I decided not to be one. And so let's get back to mutual funds.
Yeah, let's get to back.
So what I look at when we talk about mutual funds that's very, very important is for a beginner, it's good to look at what's called sectors.
Sectors, yeah.
And so what I mean by sectors is you have parts of the economy that has sectors and become what's called a sector investor. So we know things like healthcare is going to always be around. Technology is going to always be around. You also have bond funds.
Yeah.
The government's going to always be around.
Man, speaking of technology, has nothing to do with what I was going to say earlier. But anyway, so a couple years ago, there was this big wave of hoopla about what was called the Internet of Things.
Yeah.
Man,
That's huge.
blew my mind.
It's
But
huge.
I only learned about it maybe last year. So
That's-
I think it was like 2014, 2013 maybe. They were saying, this is going to be the new wave. This is going to be the biggest thing since freaking the cotton gin. So what the Internet of Things is, just for people who don't know, and you can look this up. You can just Google it, Internet of Things. It's really how, let me give you an example, how your phone can talk to your house and lock the door.
Yeah.
Or how your phone can talk to the car and, your car start or something like that.
Yeah.
So just the connectivity of all your devices and, things just throughout your life.
The things you don't think about.
Yeah, things you don't think about. And what the trick is, or the little piece that make it all possible, is just a little piece of hardware. It's just a little chip.
Little piece of metal.
Yeah, a little piece of metal.
They come from Africa.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
They say you say I know. Man, I saw an article. What was my guy's name? Banyan Hill.
I don't know it. You read probably more articles than I do.
Google him, y'all. For real.
Banyan Hill.
Banyan Hill.
Okay.
I might have the last name wrong, but Banyan. Look up Banyan, and it'll pop up. Probably like the first five things. But Banyan Hill said if you invested $1,000 into this
Internet of Things.
into the Internet of Things, you'd be a millionaire by now.
Wow. So see,
You know how bad I'm kicking myself in the rear end?
I did the same thing though.
Man.
So when I was in college, I was around people who was talking about things like Twitter, Facebook.
What?
Before it even was big.
Before it went big.
So my instructor was like, if you have any money, put money in these companies now. And this was 2008,
Yeah.
2006. And they told me at that
What?
point. They also told me about what's called open source software,
Yeah.
where like Google now, where you no longer have to have Microsoft
Oh, yeah.
Office suites.
Yeah.
But they talked about this 10, 15 years ago. And at that time, I didn't know what the hell I was thinking.
Right.
I wasn't thinking.
You wasn't thinking.
Because
I wasn't thinking.
I didn't grow up around investment.
Exactly.
So
'Cause, I mean-
if I wasn't exposed to that kind of mindset, I'd never be able to fulfill it.
Right.
So sector investment. Good. That was
Yeah.
a good point. So
Yeah.
technology. So really look at sectors. Look at those different sectors, and with mutual funds, you can look at those sectors, and you can invest in things like that.
Yeah.
So write down mutual funds and sector investor, and just go to T. Rowe Price, Vanguard, Fidelity, all those different places, so you can actually become and get educated about sector investing.
Sector investing.
So the other thing we can talk about are what's called ETFs.
Yeah.
So mutual funds, we kind of covered enough of it for you to get started with that. Later on, after we do this series, we'll definitely do a private webinar. I think we do that, Josh, a private webinar for the people that's serious about really learning
yeah, definitely.
how to go
Definitely.
click on different things and learn.
We'll
So
set that up.
it's going to take some time. Like, it's going to be like summertime.
Yeah, it'll be summer, probably July, August sometime.
Yeah, but we'll definitely set that up, and really want to connect with us. If you listen to it, connect with us on Spreaker. We on iHeartRadio, all those different places, iTunes. You'll get it. You'll get the notifications.
Yeah.
So, and then go like our Wealth Effect fan page on Facebook. Go like that page, because we're going to announce when we're going to do that webinar.
Yeah, different events that we have going on.
Yeah. So now we get to ETFs. So ETFs are things that you can invest in, and the ones I like the most are the ones that's called index funds.
Index funds. Yeah, I heard of those.
Index funds. Very, very powerful. Okay, let me go back. ETFs are their own thing, and you have index funds. That was the third one. That was the other thing, index funds.
Oh, yeah.
So index funds are very, very. I don't want to touch on ETFs today.
You don't?
Only because, like,
Yeah, I can see. Okay.
when we do our webinar, we can really go in depth with ETFs. So let's look at index funds,
Okay.
and then we'll finish with that today. We'll
Okay,
finish
cool.
with index funds. Is that cool?
Sound good?
So the index fund was real cool about those are that those are indexed with the S&P 500.
Oh, nice.
A lot of those are indexed with the S&P 500. And another cool thing about index funds, they have low or no fees. Very cool. The mutual funds are going to have fees attached to it that you will have to pay the fees on it, because you don't want an index fund is a mutual fund is simply this with the fees. You're leveraging a person's knowledge that's in the investment field, that's managing that fund. You have to leverage their knowledge. You're just doing it as a group. So you're having like thousands of people putting their money in that fund because it's a good investment manager.
I see.
So you have to pay fees for that.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
With an index fund, you're just leveraging how the stock market's performed over the past 100 years.
Wow.
Which you're going to get the average of the stock market's performance. So let's say the stock market performed around 10 to 12% for the past 100 years.
Yeah.
The index fund is going to just give you the 10 to 12%.
10-12%. So again, you're eliminating the middleman.
You eliminate the middle of the middleman.
Wow.
So you're eliminating the bank. Well, you still use an investment bank?
Yeah.
You're eliminating the investment manager, though. He don't have to be there.
Yeah,
no
he
more.
don't have to be there.
You don't got to worry about the little banks trying to take your money either. So you eliminate the middle and the middle and the middleman.
Yeah.
So with an index fund, you're essentially just taking the money, putting it in there, and saying, I'm going to trust the stock market to do what it's going to do anyway.
Yeah, directly investing in the stock market.
So on average, the stock market has been performing I think the average is like between 8 to 12%. And so, cool story, we talked about it last week. Warren Buffett and a hedge fund manager made a bet one time in 2008. It's cool. It's a cool story.
Is that bet still going on?
It is. And Warren Buffett is winning.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett is winning because he made the bet with the hedge fund manager that the hedge fund manager said, I can outperform you, Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
And Warren Buffett said, okay. And the hedge fund manager thought Warren Buffett was going to make this elaborate algorithm with his mind and do these mind tricks and find these
Stephen Hawkins with money.
Yeah. And Warren Buffett said, I'm just going to put it in the index fund.
Yeah.
And I beat you every time.
I mean, because that's almost guaranteed money.
It is, because you don't have to worry about the middleman anymore, because the middleman is just the stock market.
It's just the stock market.
And it's going to perform the way it's performed.
It's going to do what it does.
Yeah, it always will.
Exactly.
Put it like this. People do not want the stock market to fail.
No.
So they're going to make sure they do everything to keep it performing well, or at a good pace.
Yeah.
Why not just put it in the index fund? You